Hi everyone, this is Imi from the Pro Traders Lounge, and I'm here to give you all a quick Monday update on all the major instruments to see where we could be going this week across the markets. So I'll jump straight into TA now. Hopefully you should be seeing my screen up with the dollar index. First thing I'm going to mention is last week, as you know, or you may not be aware, but you should be aware of this if you're a trader. There was a big decision from the Fed, which was the Fed funds interest rate, which is just it's an interbank lending rate decision, but it kind of affects the markets, and it can the decision can filter down to other banks like retail banks. So it tends to be the biggest thing that swings the markets. When you look at the Fed funds FOMC meetings, the big ones are the biggest ones are Fed funds decision, and the minor ones tend to be the CPI and PPI, and they tend to give you small moves before price continues, and Fed funds gives you the biggest reactions, the biggest moves. So at the moment I've got the dollar index on my chart. Let's open everything this up, my watch list. Right, so that's the dollar index, and this grey line here, let's change it to different colours to make it a bit easier to see. Blue, how's blue looking? Maximize that. All right. So yeah. So this blue line here now, it shows you the Fed funds decision point. And with the dollar index, it was a turning point, right? At least locally, nice high volume move, kind of fake out to the downside first, and then a bit of a reversal. And I'm going to go on a high time frame in a second. This is just giving me a very kind of slight bias, at least a mental bias for price action. So we had a low for the dollar and more bullish price action now. The ES did the opposite. ES gave a little fake out to the upside and then a big move down. So it's bearish, a slight bias for the ES. Bitcoin kind of did nothing, went pretty sideways, and then followed the ES for a move down. So again, slight bearish bias. Gold was the nicest one because it gave us a nice clear move upwards and a clear move down. So that was a really nice fake out. And I'll show you what faked out in a second. The euro. The euro is kind of the most opposite to the dollar because the dollar index is made up of the 7 biggest current global currencies, the euro being the biggest one. So whatever the euro does, the dollar would tend to do the exact opposite. So the dollar was this, down and up, and the euro was up and down. So this is a reversal point, bearish bias. Pound, similar kind of thing, reversal point, move down to downside, bearish. And crude oil was kind of pretty sideways. I don't really like crude oil's price action. It's too sideways for me, so I'm not going to go much deeper into crude oil for now. If we zoom out now and look at a higher time frame to see where things are going, let's hide that FOMC indicator now and put my trend lines and things back up. So I'm quite big on trend lines and some simple SR levels, order blocks, imbalances, all that kind of stuff. So with the dollar index, this is what I'm seeing. We had a nice clear trend line break initially back here. So let's put a pen up. So trend line touches here, close to a touch there, touch here, multiple touches, even a local one there, an eventual break and back test, which is quite a common pattern. Different names for it. Some people call it like a bump and run pattern. It's just a fake out and then back test before continuation. That is initially bullish. So support now will be this whole consolidation region here. That's support, and we can see what price action did was after we had this fake out, back test, and another move to the upside. We cleared these highs and a almost perfect back test before continuation. So that's pretty bullish and easy invalidation. So imagine you're going to take a paper trade on this kind of price action. That's your invalidation, that low there. What's likely to happen? It could be very anything could happen here because we're right at this key level now. This is a key level because if you go to a very local time frame, let's go. Let's just zoom into this. If we zoom into this now, you can see price made some nice highs, a nice high there, a high there, a high there. Lots of people looking at these highs for a break. So this candle here, these two candles here, claimed all of these highs before reversing. So I'm assuming there's quite a few trapped longs in this price action, which means that this last candle especially, it says daily order block at the top, that should form resistance. So the way I look at this is it's resistance until broken. and above this order block candle is my key level. So this is, I've got it marked as a key level because I expect some kind of reaction before that key level is tested, and it could be testing. Could be anything. It could be a fake out, breakout, continuation. Could be anything. It's just a key level. So if we do get more bullish price action, I would expect possible move to the upside. To trade this, you want to look at local price action. So have some scenarios in your head. For example, if this is just very close to the high now, and price reverses from here, then you want to see a change in market structure, at least locally, which we'd be losing these lows eventually. So these sorts of lows for more bearishness on the dollar. If we get a fake out, that's the most simple trade ever. You can just wait for the move back down, and then that's the short there, and could be long on the other markets. And a more bullish price action is it doesn't tend to be a clear break. If we're going to get really bullish price action, it tends to be a move upwards and not even a clear back test. It would normally whipsaw price action, then that kind of thing going on. So if you get that kind of zigzag going on, maybe a smaller one, then you could see that change of market structure as bullish. It's a lot more bullish than just a clear break. I'm not expecting a clear break. So yeah, there's lots of things to look at on the dollar index, but my preferred scenario this week would be just some kind of reversal, at least temporarily. How far could price reverse? Whenever you get past these swing points, they become support. So imagine all these swing points here in price action. These swing points, price was looking pretty bearish, and then made the move upwards. Started zigzagging upwards, changing market structure, claimed that swing point there, back tested it almost perfectly, didn't hit this one here, moved to the upside again, claimed that swing point there, back tested it not perfectly but it's close enough, and now we're approaching this swing point. So a bullish move could still be that kind of thing. It just reinforces it, but even a bearish move would still need to claim all these swing points. So if price did drop down, I'm not really expecting it to go too deeply, unless we have my invalidation tested, which will be these sorts of lows, swing point lows. Right. So not really complicated, simple TA, but it works really well. With the ES, VS was doing this, right? So we had my bias from last week, which is slightly bearish. What reinforces that bearish bias is this nice channel here. We had a very nice channel forming, some nice touches on the to the downside, and then a break. So I'm looking at a few things on the ES now. There's potential support from this gap, but if a gap is broken, then this looks nice on the weekly time frame. You can see we had multiple touches here on this kind of, this is green zone. Nice touch here, touch, lots of touches here, eventual breakout, and we haven't had a clear back test yet. So what you tend to get is when the first back test tends to give you the best trade. So if prices get really bearish from the ES, then expect something to happen here. Maybe it's not always a clear bounce. Sometimes it's a fake out, then a move upwards, but that should give us some kind of reversal point, at least for a scalp. How likely are we to bounce off this gap level here? I look at volume on these ones, but because we had such close consolidation here, it's a nice low close to it. We had a low here close to it. This low is quite close to it, and a nice high volume move down into this area. We might not get a bounce off it, but it's just something to keep in the charts for now to look at. So the ES is looking bearish, not looking like it's going to reverse yet. We even had a local backtest of that trend line. So if you see what price action did here, we had that break, local backtest, didn't claim that this swing point here, and bearish until it's bullish if we start claiming order blocks. So if you look at price action in terms of order blocks, an order block here was right on the edge of it there, backtested, bearish engulfing candle, order block, not completely backtested, another bearish engulfing candle, order block left behind. You know, we need to start claiming these order blocks before price looks bullish, like it's going to reverse. But until we get that reversal and order blocks being claimed, then look for more downside. Bitcoin, I know Bitcoin's is a big one for everyone, but I'm seeing this on Bitcoin. Nice simple trend line to the upside, which I think will be possibly tested in at some point in future. We don't know when it's going to be tested, but it's one to keep on your radar. This is a scenario I posted in the PTL Discord group the other day. What I'm looking at here is we had multiple touches of that trend line, a possible trend line to the downside being created. There's two scenarios I'm looking at here. You can either this could either be like a point where price wants to bounce, which is the range POC here, which I've got marked in red. So price tends to give a reaction from there. It may not be a big reaction. If it starts to consolidate, then you can look to be being broken. Then maybe a test of that trend line. So that's one scenario, and a triangle being created. So if you look at this as a big triangle, then that's one scenario. The other scenario is just a clear bounce of this trend line, and then a test of this trend line, which could go anywhere. If you do get a nice clear bounce, then that's going to be a major TP, and these highs have to be a major TP because price could just swing failure for any of these key levels. My ideal scenario would be a move upwards into this SR level at least, and then potentially, like there's an order block here, an order block there. Sorry, there's that wick there classed as an order block. So there's a couple of places price could bounce from here with some consolidation behind it. So a nice compound, not compound, a hedge short from there. So if you're in long from lower, I would also take a hedge short from up there, paper trading. But right now we're at this key level, at this the point of control. Locally, you need to see what's going on locally before you take a paper trade. We've wick just below it slightly, pretty sideways. Let's have a look what's going here. Yeah, so pretty sideways. So it's not giving us any clear indication of where it wants to go right now. If you switch up time frame slightly, you could say, let's have a wait for a break of market structure locally, and it's a tricky one, slightly tricky one. So I would say these highs here. So maybe claim these local equal highs here as a first test of market structure. But if we get a move to the downside, it's a bit slightly more bearish. So if we get a move to the downside testing these kind of equal lows, then I would still look for a long until we get this low tested. So if you see this low as a support level, a support zone, that's invalidation. That wick low that there is invalidation. Why? Because we had this simple market structure going on down here, which is nice lows here, nice low, a nice low, a clear breakdown move, potential for trapped shorts in this move. So if shorts are trapped in that move, then if we get a move to the downside, these shorts want to close, and that's going to be a market long. Boom, price should reverse. So the highest probability trade in this whole price action is actually this region here to the downside. If you get a nice if you get a move to the downside, and if you get, it'd be really nice if we got a fake out of this trend line as well. Then that would be a really nice move for a paper trading long. Okay, that's Bitcoin. Bitcoin, a couple of scenarios there. There's a bearish one and a bullish one. Next, we have gold. Okay, gold. Mentioned earlier, we had a slight bearish bias from that FOMC fake out to the upside. What was faking out? This trend line, very clear trend line, nice fake out. Okay, if you assume now this is a market maker short position, then that wick high is invalidation for any further sort of short paper trades. And where's the downside target? It's got to be this trend line here. So imagine price action could do a few things here. Locally, it could make a move back up again to test this wick. If we don't lose that high, then great. Look for a potential short down to this trend line again. But if it is a reversal point and price is just bearish from here, then watch out for that trend line, because it can bounce from there. It could fake out. It could break down. So many things could happen there. You always want to take a major TP at these clear trend lines, and it's a very clear trend line. The euro I just mentioned earlier. The euro is looking pretty bearish. We're in a big channel. Locally, we had a back test of this order block. Again, there's two bearish things going, a few bearish things going on here. There's these equal lows that have been being tested one by one. We've had a test of this one. We're potentially making our way down to this one now. So that's bearish. And again, if the euro is bearish, the dollar is going to be bullish, and all the other markets will tend to be bearish. So this was nice price action. We had a nice channel forming. Multiple touches. Kind of pretty clear breakdown, back test of that region, and now drop, back test of that order block. I've got the order block marked here in teal, and now it's still looking bearish. We're forming a nice engulfing candle again, so that's still looking quite bearish. Invalidation or confirmation of bearishness is this order block that's just been left behind. That candle is I call it's not technically an order block, but I call these kind of big reversal candles order blocks. Let's just zoom in a little bit, see if there's anything more clear. So yeah, on the euro, there's a nice simple SR level here, or we can look at as a sign of claiming this as a sign of strength. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. Yeah, this whole consolidation region, you can see this whole consolidation region as resistance now. So if we claim that, come back into that, claim this, that's more bullish. What's more likely to happen is just back test in somewhere into that zone, and then possible move back down again. That's the best case bearish scenario. Right now it's looking worse than that. It's just looking like it's just dropping like crazy. Pound again was on a high time frame, was doing this. Nice channel, very clear touches. And this is very simple TA, but it's also very powerful TA. I've done, as I mentioned before, I've done all the complicated stuff. I've gone crazy heavily into order flow, order books, you name it, I've done it. And I've taken my TA right back to grassroots, and this is what works well. It's easy. Just pick up on the patterns and learn how to trade them, and then you don't order flow can work great as well, but I don't need it. You don't. If you learn this stuff, you don't need it. Anyway, so we had a nice clear break, a deep back test of this region here. So it's a bit more tricky. Then we had that kind of whipsaw price action I mentioned earlier. So we had like this fake out, change of market structure. That was bearish. And then that was a nice line there. So we had a nice perfect back test of that level there, and continuation to the downside. So the euro the pound has been kind of nice and technical, working its way to the downside. Where's the target? Possibly these lows here. Some nice equal lows down here. Let's do a horizontal line on this one. This is meant to be a quick update, right? So possibly looking at these lows for the pound, right? So. But before we get there, there's a bit of a swing point here. I always say, if in doubt, draw a fixed range pull. See where the point of control is just right there. So that's going to be a very big level as well. You don't often find a point of control that's not tested, especially a big spiky one like this. So that's where the pound could be going. You could do the same across the other markets, but I'm going to make this update a bit quicker now. I need to go back to the group, guys. I'm not going to go over crude oil. Crude oil is looking more bullish. Looking at this, it's a bit more bullish than some of the other stuff, because we've got these equal highs here. We had a local liquidity level. I'll zoom in to show you. This. Let's go to for 1 hour chart. So nice equal highs forming. Breakout back test, and then potentially more bullish market structure. If we get a change of market structure here, this is pretty sideways. If we start getting a change of market structure, which again at the very least we want to see order blocks being claimed. Where's a nice order block here? Locally, got to be this kind of region here. So if we start getting these order blocks claimed, then it's a bit more bullish. They can start looking for a short squeeze. We had nice kind of bearish price action there, potential short squeeze, maybe a move up to that liquidity level to the upside. But until we get a change in market structure locally, it's not really doing anything. It's just sideways. What else? I was going to show you guys a bunch of altcoins and stocks, and there's too much to go over. If you want to get some further insights, you can join our Discord. A lot of stuff going on in there. We trade stocks, we trade crypto, we trade everything. We have all different lots of different methods, lots of different pro traders to learn from. some really high probability stuff going on there. Some amazing predictions. We're not a calls group, but we do make some great predictions. So if you're interested, yeah, come and join us. See what things are, how things could be moving, and how you could trade them. That's the biggest thing, is how to trade these patterns and price action and everything you learn in terms of technical analysis. You need to also learn how to trade them. That's one of the biggest factors. But yeah, so thank you for joining me. And as usual, everything I've mentioned today is just for information and educational purposes, and paper trading only. Take care and trade safe.